Now Jim, what have we got here?
This is our work. We have a mission in Misiones, and we visit the poorest of the poor.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is to befriend them first of all, build up a relationship, and try to help them as best we can. First of all with food, that's the first thing that's needed. Then, as you can see, the conditions of some of the houses are appalling. So what we try to do is renovate the houses, give them a better quality life, put proper furnishings, because a lot of the kids would even sleep on the bare ground. The water, when you have subtropical storms, would come in, and a lot of disease and illness because of this. This would be a typical couple from Misiones, and they would, you can see the distinct, even the Guarani, the Indian look. It's a mixture usually between European and Indian, but when the strong winds and the storms come in, as in this lady, this happened just 3 or 4 weeks ago, the whole side of her little shack was knocked down. So what we're trying to do is basically build decent housing, decent homes. For example, this is Don Amaro. Don Amaro suffered from cancer of the prostate. He lived in awful subhuman conditions. He had nothing. Every day he had to go to the nearest soup kitchen to try and get a basic meal for the day. He was very, very ill when we met him, and what we did was we built him this house. It's a 2-bedroom, brick-built house, shower facilities, furniture for the first time in his life, electricity for the first time in his life, and also, you know, toilet amenities. So for him, this was like a palace. It's a basic house. This is what we try to do, is to improve the quality of life, the quality of their living conditions. This photograph was sent over by a journalist just a couple of weeks ago when he was heard about our exhibition. It's not very distinct, but in the back there's a 105-year-old lady who has had an eviction order against her for 25 years. Because most of the people, they don't own the land, and if they're building a true road or whatever, they will just knock out all the houses, the shanks or whatever. She's had this eviction order. As you can see, and it's probably the mud, the water comes in on a regular basis, so they're constantly fighting against the deluge, you know.
And how much did it cost to build a house like that out there now?
That house at the time we would have built for about $4,500, because every penny goes in. At the moment with inflation, you're probably close to 6,500, you know.
That would withstand the weather out there now too?
That would stand the weather. It's strong, it's well built, it's very comfortable inside. For them, and as you can see, the difference is enormous. This is the appalling conditions or whatever. We've also built, we set up a community called St. Patrick's Community, La Comunidad de San Patricio, where we have homes, school, educate them, because we're trying to get every component in so as that they can literally break the cycle of poverty completely. You know, so school, to try and get them educated. This is the school here. Recently we built a nutritional centre, because many kids, especially in the subtropical forests, suffer from malnutrition. When they go to the hospital, they get treated, emergency treatment, but then they go back to a state of poverty. So what we're trying to do is have this to give them a proper diet for about 6 months to build up the body's defences before they go home. Because, and we grow our own vegetables, we encourage them, we get people in to show them how to grow vegetables, to use the land, maximise the use of the land. And this year we've had such a good crop that we're selling to the vegetable shops in the town, you know. So in the chapel we have, that was built a number of years ago, which has been the catalyst to bring in all the communities from around, an awful lot of people coming, joining in the life of the community, helping us with various events, and the chapel has been the catalyst really on that. And literally this would be pictures of different groups coming that visit us, organise parties and different things for the kids.
Where would the groups come from?
They would be, that's
locals,
a local
from the city,
group from the city itself, yeah.
And are they learning, or are they observing, or are they...
They will come in and they will help us. They'll organise events for the kids. They're doing crafts in the school. That's the crafts classes where they're showing them how to make basic crafts and whatever. They will also, people coming in showing them the horticulture, agriculture, you know, so that they can plant, the best times to plant vegetables, different things like that. This guy, Don Miguel, would be typical. Don Miguel, for example, was abandoned in the hospital for about 6 months. No home to go to. His home was burnt completely. All his documents, any little furnishings he had, which would have been very near, were gone. He had nowhere to go. He had nobody to take care of him. One of the nuns, actually was one of the nurses, came up to us, asked me could we get a place for him. He's now living with us in quality of life. He was blind for 20 years, doctor. He was blind for 20 years. We got an operation done on the eyes. We got him his rights, which were to have a basic disability pension. With that disability pension, we were able to do laser on his eye. He can see now for the first time in 20 years. He cannot believe the change in his life. This is what we're about, is actually changing the lives of people that had no hope whatsoever beforehand. What's central to everything is love and compassion, building up a friendship. These are all our friends. We treat them as if they were a family member. And it's the only way to...
And how did you get involved in this?
Well, first of all, I went over about 11 years ago. I always wanted to do some sort of missionary work. I kind of felt my life's been good. I've had a lot of benefits in my life. I just want to give something back, and my intention was to go there for 6 months. And the first day I arrived in Misiones, I had a little 10-year-old boy in my arms, and he weighed 7 kilos. It was frightening. And I was shocked. And I said, this is totally unacceptable. So the cosy, comfortable plan of 6 months was blown out of the water, really. And then I decided, we'd spend longer to feed them first of all. We adopted kind of like the fish followed by the fishing rod module. Feed them first of all, because they had to be kept alive. So like the Vincent de Paul in Ireland, we go around visiting families with kids with serious malnutrition. With Silvina, there was 4 of us in the group. And we'd feed them first of all, then we would then encourage them to make sure the kids go to school. We have an agreement with them. They have to clean the house, use the land as best they can, and then with that, if they work together with us, we can help them with renovating the house, getting better quality conditions to live in, and also providing food, medicine, clothing. And then we've started recently a system of microcredit, which is going exceptionally well, where we'll try and enable them to set up a small business. For example, a woman is good at making clothing. I can't afford a machine. We will give her the machine, and then we will give her maybe a loan interest-free to buy material and everything like that to get her set up.
And does she have to pay it back? She does?
She has to pay, but no interest whatsoever.
No interest.
We'd probably usually buy the machine for her free. That would be a gift from the group, and then material and things like that to start with cost, we would be able to give her a loan for that, and she'd pay so much, a very small amount per week. That encourages her to have responsibility. Everything involves a compromise. With the families, we say, we're here, we want to do as best we can for your family, but you've got to make sure the kids go to school, you have to make sure they clean the house, and this is so important. Otherwise, it becomes a form of social welfare. If they're just waiting for us to come, Ollie, then we're defeating the whole purpose. We're trying to make them more self-sufficient.
How did you get involved, Silvina? You're a local from out there, yeah?
I'm local from Obera. Yes, I met Jim when he went to work in the mission. So I was working in the same place, that's how we met. And then he was saying about set up a group to help the poor. And I was kind of at the moment a bit delusional with the corruption, and everything was so bad that I thought nothing can be done, nothing's going to change. But then I think we started working together bit by bit, and I could see, yes, maybe something can be done. And then I got more involved, and a few friends, and everything grew up from there, and so it's really good now. It's working so well. We have appreciated so much.
And it's a very poor area you're working, very poor.
You've a mixture of extraordinary wealth and extraordinary poverty. We have big tea plantations beside us, big tobacco plantations, but people, even if they have work, and about 50% are unemployed, they have very, very poor wages. Inflation is running very, very high, so the poor are very poor.
What's the average wage? Do you know what it is?
Oh, well, the average...
Or how much an hour do they get? Or
the poor would be working for no more than 50 cents an hour.
Yeah. 50 cents an hour?
Yeah. No, if they got that. In fact, they probably would be pleased to get 50 cents an hour. But when you think, when we went, first of all, groceries, the basic groceries were a fraction of the cost of Ireland. Now we would reckon most of the basic, most important groceries would be at least twice the price.
Twice the price?
Twice the price. Milk,
and 50 cents an hour?
And they get 50 cents an hour.
And our minimum wage is like nearly 10 euros.
That's right, yeah.
Definitely.
Even doctors like yourself starting off, they're on very, very poor wages. They couldn't live on a doctor's wage.
The hospitals don't have any cleaning material for the guards area. Or
we had to sponsor the cleaning materials, the basic care materials, just to clean the hospital.
And have they got a big hospital in your city now? The city is as big as Galway, I would say.
They have a sizable hospital, but the conditions would be archaic. Yeah. A lot of good people working there,
yes.
And only for them, you know, and they have, it definitely has improved over the time I was there. Like it went from an absolute horror show to it's much better now, but it's still
the corruption is huge. I read just recently that the workers that clean the hospital, for example, they are obligated to sign when every month they're going to get the payment. They're obligated to sign this payment, and in the paper say that they should get something like 3,000 pesos. But in the reality, they get 1,000 or less.
Per month.
So, and they have to sign it, otherwise they won't get any money.
And the reason
that must be illegal, is it?
It's illegal.
Has anybody taken it on? No?
That's why they signed for the 3,000, because that will cover the companies as if they're paying the minimum wage.
And that happens everywhere.
So is there a middleman taking it out, is there?
Well, it's a private company, and it's like slave labour. Slave labour would be literally rife over here. For example, this guy here.
Sorry, could I ask you something now?
Yeah.
When you're talking like this, does it put you at risk when you go back?
We don't worry. I mean, I personally don't worry about the risk. If they do something to me, I'm over there to try and help the people, and I can't worry about the risk. You are. It's dangerous to speak out against.